Hi, second grade. So in lesson 4 for math this week, you're going to draw a bar graph again to represent a given data set. So data, again, is information that you collect about anything. So I know that you were doing animal characteristics last week. This week, let's look at a couple different data sets or things we can collect or questions we can ask ourselves that we can make bar graphs out of. So first, though, let's look at your application problem for this week. So after a trip to the zoo, Miss Anderson's students voted on their favorite animals. Use the bar graph to answer the following questions. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 right here, A, B, and C, D, questions to answer. So we have to use this bar graph to answer all of these questions, okay? Again, just as a review, here's the title of this bar graph, favorite animals. And then over here, this is all the data that they collected, okay? Which animal got the fewest votes? What do you guys think? That's question A. Well, let's just look at the lines. Which of these bars is the smallest? Flamingo, right? Look up here. And how many votes did Flamingo get? Well, you go down here to your numbers and go up to Flamingo and over, and Flamingo got 2 votes. So that's the question, the answer for A. So that's all you're doing for your problem set. Just use your bar graph to answer your questions. Not your problem set, your read, draw, write. You know what I'm talking about. All right, so for the lesson today, look behind me. Try not to block it. Okay, so I made a data set using information from our classroom. So these are our birthdays. That's the title of my data set. I put it into 1, 2, 3, 4 different categories. What do you think these categories are? They're the seasons of the year. So we have our spring birthdays in March, April, and May, our summer birthdays in June, July, and August, our fall birthdays in September, October, and November, and our winter birthdays in December, January, and February. And I already used our birthday wall in the back, and I counted it up. We have 2 in the spring, 7 in the summer. That's all you July birthdays out there. 3 in the fall, and 2 in the winter. And if you add all these numbers up, what do you think you'll get? The total number of students in our class, which is 14. So we're going to use this information and go over here and put it on this bar graph. Okay. Give me a second. All right. So, I already lost my marker. We'll just use this blue one. All right. So we need to put the title on our bar graph. So what should the title be? It should match our data set. So I'm going to put our birthdays. And then we have to look at this box and figure out where all that information needs to go over here. So what are these lines for, and what are these little lines for? These lines over here, that's where we're going to put our 4 categories. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to put spring, summer, fall, and winter. Okay? And then down here, we're just going to count by ones because we only have 14 total students, and the highest number that we have to take off of our data set and record is 7. So over here, our lines only have to go up to a 7 at least. So we'll just put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And now we're ready to record our data. So we had 2 spring birthdays. So I'm going to go down here to 2, and I know I need to fill in 2 of these boxes. For summer, we had 7, so we're going to have to go all the way to 7 and fill all that in. For fall, we have 3 birthdays. Now, do you see how I'm leaving spaces, a row in between each of my different categories? That's so our data doesn't get all mixed up, and we can clearly see spring, summer, fall. Now let's look at winter. 2 birthdays. All right. So we've completed our bar graph. We have our categories over here, we have our numbers, and we have all of our information. Now we can answer some questions. So you might ask yourself, which season has the most birthdays? Look at your bar graph. Look how easy this is to look at this information. Look at the longest one. That would be summer. Which season has the least amount of birthdays in it? Well, we have a tie because winter and spring are the same. They tied. So spring and winter tie, and then fall is right in the middle with 3 birthdays. Now, one more thing I wanted to show you. On your bar graphs, you can flip them the other way. So we're still going to use the same data set, this our birthdays chart, but we're going to flip our bar graph. And it's going to mean the exact same thing, it's just going in a different direction. I'm going to put my categories down here: spring, summer, fall, winter. And then I'm going to put my numbers going this way: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay? And then 1 will be here, 2. You got to make sure your lines match up with your numbers. All right. And then spring, summer, fall, winter. And you can fill this in, and all we did was just flip our bar graph. So now our categories are down here and our numbers are going up that way. And it's still technically a bar graph. It's just the information's on different angles. All right, that should help you guys do lesson 4. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll get ready and record lesson 5 next. Bye, guys.